AITA for refusing to give my mother my tax papers. I'm 24 and go to school FT and work point. I do pay my mother $300 in rent utilities. This is new. She does not pay for any of my bills. I pay for my own tuition, books, food, gas, car insurance, etc. This is not new. My younger brother also lives with us, 19, and just works but does not pay any rent. In fact, my mother gives him money. It's like any money I give my mother goes directly to my other siblings, and it's a point of contention. To make matters worse, she not only lies about my brother paying rent and not giving him money, my mother discreetly dropped me off her work insurance plan. I only found out when I called her job up to get a new health insurance card and they told me that I was no longer on the plan anymore. That actually hurt that she did that. She is under financial stress right now because she is also supporting my loser sister, her baby daddy, and they just had a kid. In the past, I would give her T-1098, which is the tax form for college. It was of no value to me because I was listed as a dependent, which was required to get health insurance under her job. Basically, she would say that she paid for all of my tuition and books so she could get a bigger refund and more credits on her tax return, even though I was the one who personally paid for all of my college expenses. She asked me for my T-1098 from 2019 and I refused to give it to her since she kicked me off her insurance because she couldn't afford it and didn't bother telling she did that. I am now deemed an independent and I am filing my taxes as such. She blew up at me saying that things are financially tight and tried modifying our rental agreement to where she would claim my college expenses as her own. I won't budge. I would actually get a big enough refund to cover next semester's tuition. NTA, but be careful. Some of this sounds like it might be tax fraud. You might want to post on our legal advice. Sorry, I don't know how to link it correctly. Also, file your taxes ASAP. Just because she took you off her insurance does not mean that she stopped claiming you as a dependent, as everyone has been saying. Move out to disentangle yourself from this mess. Removed. NTA. But I suggest moving out of that asshole soon. NTA, holy ass man, I really feel for you. I can understand your mom is tight on money, but removing you from the insurance and then not telling you, that's really effed up. I'd try and move out ASAP if I were you. I don't know your financial position, but if you can get a place with roommates, it would be better for you even mentally. NTA, not only that, but you need to get receipts from your mother for the rent you are paying her. Then claim that on your taxes too. You're getting screwed out of a lot because of her. It's time to do something about it. Usually employer-sponsored healthcare plans have an individual plan and a family plan that charges for the first for second kid and then all other kids are free. If her plan is like that, she might have dropped a family plan altogether. That means your siblings don't have insurance either, and that sucks. NTA. NTA. And you should start looking for a new place to live. Don't tell your mother, not until you have found a place and are ready to leave, or she might try to sabotage your plans. Make sure you have all your necessary paperwork secure, birth certificate, license, passport etc., where they cannot be lost or accidentally destroyed. Make sure your taxes are done properly as well. If she raises a fuss, just tell her you are leaving to reduce the financial strain on her from having you at home. NTA, your mother is obviously screwing you over. I would get out of there in a hurry. NTA, my dad did the same thing to me. I paid for everything in my college besides my cell phone plan, which was talk only back in the day. He always claimed me, but to be honest it wouldn't have done much for me anyway since I was only working part-time. I had a pretty good relationship with my dad until it came to when I graduated. He got really upset when I told him he couldn't claim me anymore. He literally died and talked to me for almost a year. It was ridiculous. I was working full-time and now even paying for my phone bill. She's committing tax fraud if she's claiming for something she is in no way involved with. Sounds like you're in a pretty S-type situation here, but you're definitely NTA here. Good for you. She allowed herself to take on more than she could handle and is using you to pay for it. She canceled your health insurance. Who does that? That SHT is expensive on your own. With no warning, and now wants to suck more money out of you to handle her overcrowded. Due to her and her alone household, she needs to woman up, charge all the others rent, and stop taking advantage of you. You are NTA here. She should be ashamed. NTA, she's taking advantage of you and treating you differently because you're female and probably thinks that she can get away with it because you are female as well as her daughter. Find a way to move out. See if you can exchange chores or something with a friend. Rent a room or see if you can find something that's possibly affordable for what you're paying now. My mom filed me as a dependent even when I hadn't talked to her in 2 years, and hadn't lived with her for 4 years. She claimed me as a dependent even after I gave her $14K of my inheritance to get her off my back. Somehow this resulted in me not being able to get in-state tuition since she lived out of state, and as a naive 18-year-old I didn't really know what I was supposed to do about it. My advice is to consult someone who actually knows about this stuff. Even if you have to pay some money, it will really be worth it in the long run. Don't let her take advantage of you like I foolishly let my mother do. I'm in the middle of getting my accounting degree and am in the middle of a tax class. This is what I've learned. Here in the US, your mom can only claim you if she paid at least 60% of your living expenses, food, housing, utilities, insurance, etc. Otherwise you're independent and cannot be claimed on her taxes. Not sure about other countries, but this is for the US. NTA. I've been in a similar situation. I paid all my own My parents support my 20-year-old unemployed brother. My dad dropped me from his work health insurance without telling me and left me with nothing until September when my job allowed new enrollment for their insurance plan. It's so frustrating, and absolutely yes that you're dealing with this. NTA, as others are saying, try and get out of there, look into student apartment deals and keep as much money as possible. Info. I thought kids can't be on their parents' health insurance after 24, either way, use this as a sign to leave and find somewhere else to stay. NTA. OP. If at all possible, get yourself out of this situation as quickly as possible. Move out if you can and definitely file your taxes as soon as you can, and let her know you did so that if she tries to claim you there is proof that you are 1. Not her dependent, and 2. That you already filed independently, and 3. That you made her aware that she was no longer to be filing for you as her dependent. My mother tried to pull this with me. She claimed me all through high school even though my dad and other family members were the ones providing for me. Then all through college when I had loans in my own name and help from my dad, not her. She actually stole money from me during this time. Then partway through college I moved in with my grandparents and she still continued to claim me on her taxes. By this point I had not been her dependent by any stretch of the imagination for quite a few years. Then she moved a few hours away. I graduated college and continued to live with my grandparents and had a job, and she came back and tried to keep claiming me as a dependent. At this point I told her absolutely not, that I was going to start filing my own taxes and that I would no longer let her claim me on hers. If she had her way, she would have claimed me the maximum length of time she could, even though it was fraudulent. Get out of that situation. Keep your finances separate from hers. And move out if you can. There is only more heartache ahead with a parent who does this kind of stuff. NTA. Claim as much as you can for yourself on your tax return and get out of there. I know I'm probably going to get blasted here, but info. Were you on her insurance for the majority of 2019? Taxes are for what happened last year, not what's currently happening, so, depending on how early your situation arose, it's still possible you could be considered a dependent. Disclaimer: I am not a tax expert. I worked in a tax office for 1 season, so my knowledge is very limited. This is hard. My parents were in a tough situation financially and stopped paying my college tuition without telling me. They also borrowed lots of money that was never repaid. I don't think your mom is a horrible person who doesn't love you, but she's not making good decisions under stress. You need to start protecting yourself so that your own finances don't get dragged down with hers. Definitely file your own taxes and get the refund you deserve. NTA at all. Get out of your mom's house. NTA: if she isn't treating you as a dependent, then she doesn't deserve that sweet tax break. NTA: definitely try and get out though. Kicking you off insurance wouldn't save any money. Are you sure that's why? Family plans are the cost of the family. It doesn't count how many people are on it. It's a set price if you have 2 or 10 kids. NTA of course, but try to move out. NTA: what's she doing is not only shady but majorly illegal. Has she never considered what might happen should she get audited and it be found out that you're an independent, not a dependent? Not only would Agree get in trouble with the IRS, but so would you. Tax fraud is a huge deal, and she would not only be setting herself up for trouble but you for it as well. As big of a pain in the ass that your mom is being right now, the IRS is 10 times more painful. Although I reiterate what a lot of people have said, I know moving is not very easy, especially considering the state of the economy, but it sounds like your relationship with your mother is going to be a continuous point of contention, and while you're living with her she can make your life hell. Man, I wanna say NTA, but you said some things in your post that make me question your situation. You complain about mom supporting brother and loser sister, but you also live in the home. Just because you're tossing her $300 a month to cover rent, utilities, food, toiletries, etc. doesn't mean you are even close to being financially independent. Hell, $300 a month wouldn't even get you a studio in most places across the country, let alone include utilities and food. Like it or not, she's also supporting you, which means she can and should be able to claim you as a dependent in her own home, up to the age of 24. After that she can't unless you are permanently disabled. You also admit she's struggling financially, and while that may not be your responsibility, it should be your concern. Instead you're actively looking for validation for not helping. I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with the big ESH. She sounds like a difficult mother, but you sound like an ungrateful asshole. NTA: your mom needs to put more pressure on your sister and her BF, not you. I don't know your financial situation, but if you're paying $300 a month, that might be enough to get in dorm living with roommates on your campus. I'd look into your options. NTA: and please move ASAP and get away from your narcissistic mother. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought you can't claim someone as a dependent once they've turned 24. Either way, NTA, found this on IRS website. Question: is there an age limit on claiming my child as a dependent? Answer: to claim your child as your dependent, your child must meet either the qualifying child test or the qualifying relative test. To meet the qualifying child test, your child must be younger than you and either younger than 19 years old or be a student younger than 24 years old. As of the end of the calendar year, there's no age limit if your child is permanently and totally disabled or meets the qualifying relative test. In addition to meeting the qualifying child or qualifying relative test, you can claim that person as a dependent only if these three tests are met: dependent taxpayer test, citizen or resident test, and joint return test. NTA, and as I recall, tax fraud is illegal, so Macron, katakana letter 2_/Macron. NTA, because she is lying on her taxes. You are not a dependent according to the definition and she can't claim you, so don't give her your documentation. NTA, I wouldn't be surprised if your mom stole money from you to give it to your siblings. NTA, and as someone who has been involved with insurance, I can tell you, she likely would pay the same amount for you and your brother or sister or just them. The plans are usually individual plus spouse and family, which covers 100,000, maybe not that high, but covers two parents and all their kids. If she removed you, she did so out of being stupid and thinking it saves her money and obviously doesn't think you are worth even the conversation to tell you about it. NTA, sounds like you're the family scapegoat. I'm sorry, you can find a roommate or two and get out of there. NTA, she can't have it both ways. ESH, this isn't about what happened this year, it's about what happened in 2019. If you lived with your mother rent-free, she can absolutely claim you as a dependent. If she had you in her health insurance all of 2019, that adds to her case. Most parents claim those expenses even if their child used loan money to pay for them. Effectively, by providing you room and board, they can justify it. She's the asshole for kicking you off her insurance without telling you and charging you rent without charging anyone else. Did you give her the $300 in 2019? Or just for a month or so? Info not US here, but if she basically paid $3,600 for you in the last year, could it be right that you were dependent? Time to move out, homie. NTA. NTA. Your mother is financially abusing you. NTA. This sucks. I hope that you can strategize a way to get out of her house. Usually crap like this gets worse before it gets better. Best of luck to you. NTA, and your mother is a narcissist. I feel like I end up using that word on every thread I comment on, but it's probably because they all remind me of the actual narcissist I would deal with on a daily basis. Same type of stuff. She's using you and being spiteful and hurtful about it. You need to move and cut her out of your life. NTA. If you pay for the majority of your own expenses, then you're the one who deserves the money. If she didn't inform you that you don't have health insurance, I would imagine you didn't get new insurance yet. Not having insurance is a fine and it comes out your taxes. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to hear more of the best posts.